Okay, well that was the play of the game, but unlike most games, this one actually, the scoring takes almost as long as the play. We'll run through that pretty quickly here. As quickly as we can. I mean, it didn't take long to play. Alright, so first we score the A tile. And we have to worry about the soldier here first. Well, to figure out whether this soldier scores anything, we have to flip everything over next to him. And he's got 3 farmers, and because of the different pictures, they're kind of hard to tell, and a merchant. So he steals all these farmers for points. That's what he does. Now, we have to score the influence for this tile, and to do that, let's look at the people who are involved. That's yellow, blue, and purple. And we start here. He can't produce any influence. We go to the yellow. Oh, that's another soldier. We have to take care of him too. Hold on. I screwed up. There was a farmer here, because he pulled 3 farmers. So we have to count that as a farmer. 2. They're tied. There was another farmer. So these 2 farmers and a 1-point token to represent the one that was here go over to the yellow player. Those are actual victory points. Well, and there were farmers in both of these. That'll give him, purple, 2 1-point counters. And how about that? Nobody got the influence here. Everybody would get the same amount, or no one gets any. I'm just not going to hand it out. I'll take that away, though, so that I don't try to give the points out. Interesting. Okay, now we've changed the nature of the board, right? And now we go to B. Are there any soldiers here? Well, there is. Let's take a look at him. He's got 2 merchants next to him. So that's what he will collect. There are no other soldiers there, so we're safe this time. And we flip these guys over. And we look for the red and go clockwise. And this merchant collects 2 points. He's yellow. He gets 2 pips towards influence here, whereas the green, wherever he is, gets 2 for the spring and 2 for this spring, which is 4 points. So he's won this. He has the influence marker for that tile, and that one's been scored. Now we go to C, which is over here. I see no soldiers here, so we start here and start flipping. And we reset these points just in case somebody is there. How about this farmer? Well, he only produces 2 because these are fields and they have people in them. The springs give him 2 points, however, whether there's someone in it or not. This merchant gets 2 plus 2 is 4 more points. And now we go to this farmer. He gets 2 and 2 for the springs. So he's at 4 points. We go to this merchant, and now he's kind of complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for green. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points for green. And now this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points for blue. And we've worked our way around. Who has the most? It looks like green, with 13 points, will be getting another token. And these all get reset, just in case they're involved in the next fight. After C, we find D, which is over here. And we have to flip this over. This merchant is the first one to score. He gets 2, 4, 6 points, whereas the let's look. Whereas the farmer gets 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This soldier hasn't been resolved yet, but that farmer still produces his points, and that's something you kind of have to keep an eye on that I don't think I was. So blue gets this value because it was possible that that farmer would disappear. And I don't think I was really paying attention to the fact that he wouldn't, because the soldier's on a later tile. We go over to E, which is here. No soldiers. And I gotta find a red. This one, 2, 3, 4 for red. This better go back to 0. Him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He counts the soldier, 8, 9, 9 for purple. Is that how it actually is supposed to go? Yep. Okay. Just making sure. Who did we just do him? This farmer, he only produces 4 for yellow. And this farmer produces 2, 4, 6 for red, which puts him at 10, slightly ahead of purple. He gets his first points. Alright, I think we're on to the last. Well, second to last. Over here at F, there are no soldiers. Let's score this merchant. He produces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for blue. Set the scores all back. Him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for purple. Green has a farmer who scores 6. Red has a merchant, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Purple has a farmer who only scores 2. Blue has a merchant who scores 3. And we already are there. Okay, well, I see a 9 on purple. That looks like the highest. So purple will get this score. And we go back. And we're on the final and most valuable of them. First thing we score is the soldier, who has 1, 2, 3 farmers next to him, and only 1 merchant. So he grabs those. And now we score the points starting with this merchant. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's yellow's score. Red, now look, the world's a lot clearer. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 for red. And that's all that's here. Red and yellow are the only competitors. Red pulls the Palatinus. And those are all the points that have been collected. Let's take a quick look at what we've got. We don't worry about these anymore. They don't matter. But we do count this. So he's got 3 plus 3 guys is 6 points. Not a lot. He's got 12 because he's got the same with the Palatinus as well. 3 here, 9, 10, 11, and 6 here. Red's won this one. And we can see an interesting kind of situation where, you know, you're watching the game develop, placing your pieces in key locations, and you're just kind of waiting to see what you get out of the whole thing. I'm going to come back, do the review on this very tape. Alrighty. Well, so this was a little game, Palatinus. Just got finished with it. And yes, I learned my language skills from a guinea pig. Nice little, you know, simple game. Kind of thing that you bring maybe to a coffee shop or something. Hard. It doesn't take up a lot of table space. Doesn't take up a lot of time. Nice pure strategy type of situation for, you know, a small group of players with a short period of time. Good filler type material. Not the kind of thing, you know. Here's the thing that makes me feel weird about this. This is the kind of game that I like to have around the house. This is the kind of game that I if I had guests, if I knew people, and we played games, and, you know, hey, somebody's got to go for a food run, and 2 people are gone, and we take a quick break, or turns are going long, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Maybe, you know, somebody's got a long negotiation. You could break this out and play it in the middle of another game without a problem. You could get a few people together to do it, And I think it fits very nicely in that kind of situation. Um, it's not the kind of thing I would drag with me. You know, it's a little bigger than a deck of cards. I can put a deck of cards in my pocket. Or if I'm carrying a bag of games, I'm going to be carrying probably a couple of games that I'm going to try to sell the other players on. If I knew we're playing A and I'm carrying A, I might grab this along and say, you know, here, we do have room for a filler. But normally, this is not the kind of thing that I would bring with me anywhere. It would be the kind of game that's kicking around. It's not worth the effort to carry, but it does strike me as kind of an interesting little game. Cute scoring mechanism. One thing I started thinking about as soon as I looked at it, well, as soon as I started doing this review, I've gotten into a number of discussions with a guy on the Geek Clear Claw, who plays in a group where they absolutely never allow table talk. And for the most part, I'm largely on the other side of the camp where table talk should almost always be in existence. But a game like this makes me think, you know, if you played this with table talk, it might be really, really terrible. Whereas if you're just sitting there quickly making your moves and nobody's trying to diplomacy one another, I think it retains a certain nice element to the game that wouldn't really be the case if you added that diplomacy factor. That's just my feeling here, and I can see then very easily where that same thinking could go to, say, an XX game even, but certainly the Winsome Rail games, where your decisions are pretty small, discrete things that you should be making on your own. You shouldn't be being told, no, wait, he can get this. You know, that would be really, really obnoxious in this game, and I can see where it would be really annoying to people in some of the other games as well. On the other hand, you know, I'm used to these big games where diplomacy is really almost a matter of course in the game, and it's such an assumed factor that unless you make a specific rule that table talk's not allowed, it's generally acceptable unless it's giving hidden information away. Anyway, this was kind of enjoyable. Playing it in 2 was kind of enjoyable too. There was this, oh, what the hell am I doing, feeling, because it really wasn't clear how you're going to score the points, etc. But this is one of those puzzle games that's, it reminds me of Hive in that sense, where you're trying, and maybe chess even, where you're trying to make these moves to put the opponent in a position where they're going to give you points, essentially. Now in this, Hive is more chess-like in the sense that you've got clear victory conditions. This one, you're trying to collect points by placing your pieces. There's some hidden knowledge in here. It's hard to tell. Like, I don't like to call that luck, because both players are completely in control and there's bluffing, but there's not really luck involved. But on the other hand, to some extent, something like Rochambeau, isn't that all luck in the sense that, unless you know something about the other person's psyche, he always picks trusty old rock, you really have essentially a randomizer there. And the question here is this hidden information luck, or is it something else? To me, it's the something else, the same in Stratego or a game like that, where you've got hidden information, you're making choices in your play. Although they could end up coming down to a random matchup, they're not really purely random, because of the fact that you have decision-making involved in your choices. It kind of reminds me things like Empires in Arms and World in Flames in 1776 with their tactical matrices, where you get to choose one type of attack over another. Those always feel kind of like the Rochambeau situation. This feels less like it because I'm placing something where it influences things. It's the whole mechanic of the game as opposed to just a pure matrix of choices.
A beats B, B beats C, whatever. Anyway, I think this was fairly decent. I can't give it a huge rating because it's so much not my style of game. I have nothing against a little strategy like this, but it does not match the theme at all. I mean, I'm just placing pieces and scoring points. It's purely a geometric game rather than some sort of anything that feels like it's representing anything. I mean, why do soldiers capture whichever is more, the merchants or the farmers? I mean, I don't know what it's supposed to represent. It's just a purely abstract geometric game, as far as I can tell. And although I think it's kind of interesting, I think it's very clever, it just isn't the kind of thing that's going to really grab me. But if that's your kind of game, and a multiplayer, nice, hidden information type of game like this, I don't know if there are that many that are as good as this, from what I've seen of this. I like it so far. Alright.